Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. Also, don't forget to hit the bell to be notified of our upcoming videos. This is a review of the Casio G-Shock G-Lide GBX100. The specific version is the GBX100-2. And this is the new generation of surfing watches or tide chart watches from Casio G-Shock. The G-Lide sort of overall collection is for surfing, things like that. And this one not only has a lot of new technology, but happens to look really, really good. I think they did a fantastic job with the metal bezel, the overall profile of the case. This is just one color scheme with a sort of dark blue, this marine blue, but they did such a fantastic job. And if you are a traditional G-Shock fan and you haven't sort of been looking at the collection for a while, you'll notice that there's a brand new screen. This is an ultra high contrast screen. It actually gets brighter in light because I think it's called transreflective, and so it's reflecting light from underneath, and that actually makes it even more visible in the light. So you have more pixel density, you have greater contrast, and obviously the screen is quite large, and that's fantastic. And with that comes a new operating system. This watch is one of the new generations of the connected G-Shock watches, so it uses Bluetooth to talk to your phone. And it can do a few things. There's little things like it having a step counter and stuff like that, but primarily you want it to talk to your phone so you can get that great tide chart data. So one of the things which is interesting, the main screen, because you're not sort of stuck within one look, can change. So you can see here, I haven't been wearing this particular one. Here you have two different time zones, for example, on the same screen. So it's really great that you can have that level of variety there. Here I'm going through the various modes. This is an interesting mode here where it has a series of countdown timers. This is called, I think, called workouts. And so there's an interesting, you can have here, you can see there's 5 different bars at the top, and each one has its own countdown. So that's kind of interesting. You can do interval training there, which is kind of cool. Here's a normal stopwatch. Then you have, again, because this is an activity watch, you can look at some of your daily activity. So you can use either the watch, or if you want to like plan workouts and things like that, you can view your performance and do activity tracking from your phone. And here, of course, because it is a semi-smartwatch, you have some smartwatch notifications. One of the things which I think is most important, here we go, is the tide chart. And you can see Casio's particular way of doing a tide chart, where you can see here the sort of graph of the day, whether it's high or low tide, and if it's going into high or low tide. Here you have a moon phase indicator, and you have some other information. This is set right now on Santa Monica, and that is the beach, which is pretty close to here. I actually set it as that a while ago, but you can use a lot of manual information, such as your location, in order to tell it exactly what beach you're at. So the app has a predefined list of popular beaches, but if there's a specific beach that you want to go to, you just tell it where it is and the calendar information, and the watch will do the rest, giving you the tide information. And again, if you're surfing, you're doing fishing, or a lot of other activities, knowing the tide is quite important. So let's put the watch on the wrist, because again, there will be some people that will need this specifically as a tide chart watch, and are going to be surfing with it. This watch is water resistant to 200 meters and is very, very durable. But you know, as it is with sport watches, most of the people wearing it are just going to enjoy it on a day-to-day basis. And that's one of the things I love the most about the GBX100. It's that comfort. It looks really nice. You have that nice tapering on the strap. The case isn't actually too big. A lot of G-Shock watches, you know, are pretty big on the wrist, but this one is, you know, in the scheme of G-Shocks, not too big. And the sort of angularity, the sort of squared off proportions there just end up looking really, really great. And I think they did a nice job. And that metal bezel just helps it look like $1,000,000. And see how that screen has that great level of reflectivity, in the sense that it's looking so legible all the time. It's hard to get over how much of a benefit this new generation of screens are. There's only a small number of G-Shock watches that now have these screens. More and more of them will come, but it's so great seeing these. It makes it almost difficult in some regard to go back and wear some of the older generation G-Shocks, even though they look great and are so much fun, because there's so much new technology here. The Bluetooth component, you know, is interesting. I wouldn't say that this is a full-on smartwatch. It's not meant to be. I think one of the things that this watch does not have is any solar power charging. So you don't need to charge the watch. There's a 2-year battery life. But the more you use the Bluetooth connectivity, I believe the battery sort of will you know, its lifespan will be a little bit reduced. So I don't necessarily use these for things like notification purposes. What I really do like in regard to using the connectivity feature is to update the time. And so the G-Shock app does a good job of noticing when you're changing time zones and asks you, hey, you're in a new time zone, would you like to update the watch? There's ways of doing it automatically. Here you have some of the other screens here. This is a sunrise, sunset. Again, very, very useful and something that is linked to your location. So you can change the location from the watch, but it's actually more easy to change things like the location or do things like set the alarms from the app itself. And so that's why I really like the connectivity with the app, because it's not really so much just about being able to have notifications on your watch, which again, I'm not interested in, but more importantly, it allows you to control the watch from your phone, and that is a great benefit. So I've thoroughly enjoyed this watch. I think that Casio did a great job, and this is really just a part of the new generation of products, so there's gonna be more and more great stuff like this. Best part is perhaps the price. The Casio G-Shock G-Lide GBX100 or the GBX100-2 retails for just $160, and you can see the full review on aBlogtoWatch. Thanks.